Okay, let us start the class. Today is Saturday, means 26 April 2025. As I have promised that 3 days of week classes will be conducted under my Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation. Okay, as I have promised. Okay. So under my Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation, let me keep all capital letters so that under my Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation, 3 days classes will be conducted. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at sharply 8 p.m. in Zoom. Already I have shared the link to all of you either in Facebook, Twitter, even though so at everywhere in WhatsApp groups also I have shared my link. Okay, so you can join my classes. These are all very free classes, and the classes will be conducted until my last breath of life to support the students whomever residing in the rural areas and totally whomever they are totally aware of the network facilities, whether they are staying in steep mountains and whether they are residing in rural areas, in desert areas, and even though in Bengal area, poverty areas. Okay. So in the previous class, I tried to brief. We were trying to understand to create a GUI based calculator. GUI based means as I told you that graphical user interface calculator like this. Okay, this is the call. It is called GUI based calculator. So whenever this much of code was written and whenever it is being executed, so for the execution we need to run the code. This is called run the code, otherwise shift plus F10. Shift plus F10 to execute the code. Otherwise, go into the okay, this is what your main bar within this, click on this one. So whenever we click on this, the code will be executed. This is the calculator we have created. So okay, for this total code, this much of code we have written. Okay, for this total code, this is the calculator of GUI. So in the previous class, I have explained the code. Today we will try to understand line by line code. Okay, line by line. So here, try to understand actually what happened here. So this is the calculator. This is the calculator I want to move so that you can understand here. Okay, see. Now I want to explain each and every line so that you can write, you can understand how this project means simple application, how this application window created and what the code was written to create this simple GUI calculator. Okay. First of all, I told you that we need to import tk-enter module, and sometimes it is called library module. I told you that module is nothing but it will be having a lot of classes and methods and attributes. Okay. So that is the your basic class. I hope that you should understand all the topics. Okay. So we need to import this tk-enter by import module to work with GUI based applications, and it is called as alias tk, so that in further I want to call it only tk, not tk-enter. So one function created and Python function will be created with the def keyword. Then after one function name click, it is up to you, whatever the name you want to keep, it is up to you. Okay, either you want to keep your name, there is no any problem. My name, there is no any problem. Yeah, you can keep my name, your name also. So every function should have a name. Every function should have a name, and then function, then after we need to keep this parenthesis bracket. Okay, and then colon is very important. Okay, see, but here I have kept the name of that function click because I want to click. Okay, I want to click. Okay, because here any button, if I whenever I click on over any button, because whenever I click on any button, so this function will be called, click function will be called. Over any button, if you click, if I click over this button, that button has the text 6 character. So that will be displayed. So by this help of this function, over any character, this is the multiplication character. Okay. This is the 2 character. So over any button, if you are clicking, so this text will be, this code will be run under the function, this function. The function name is click. How much of code we have written under this function, click function? Okay, from here count this line of code from here to how much of code we have written. See, up to here, up to here. This much of line of code I have written under this click function. Okay, so whenever you click on over any button, okay, that text will be displayed. To display the text here, this much of code written under this click function. Event is what? It is a parameter passed here. I will explain. First, let me explain all this every line one by one. Okay. First, this line of code. What is this? Is the text is a variable. Leave it there. First of all, whenever we click on any button, so that character will be displayed. By that moment this function will be executed. That moment what happens here, try to understand. So event dot widget dot see get text means whatever the text kept on the button, whatever the text that is being displayed on the button, that will be get, that will be taken by, that will be taken from where? Widget. What widget? Widget is what I told you, that every button is a widget. Every button is a widget. Every button is a widget. Otherwise control. Otherwise you can say it as a element. Okay. Element, control, widget. So these are all widgets, otherwise controls, otherwise elements. So whenever we click on this line of code, what it does, this line of code, what it does, event dot widget, okay, event dot, okay, event dot, okay, event dot widget dot cget. Cget. What do you mean of this? Event dot widget dot cget means character gets. Character will be collected whenever you click on any button. That character will be, Siemens character will be taken. So that is a text, okay? The text is part of a widget. Widget is mean a control. Every button is a widget. Button widget means every button, every frame, label, list box, combo box, text box, radio button, these all are called widgets. Okay. So every widget, otherwise control, otherwise element. So from that widget by the C get, so the text will be taken. So event is what happens, whenever you click on, a button, so one action will be triggered. Whenever you click on a button, so action will be triggered. So that moment what happens, you click on every button, action will be triggered. Okay. So that moment what happens, please see, I will explain. So we need to understand this event. So here event is what, so whenever your action click on over a button, it triggers. Okay. So whenever you clicking this button, that is an event. You are clicking a button, it is an event. So event means that action by the user, that clicking action by the user. Okay, whenever you click on a button, whenever you click on C button, clear button, whenever you click on is equal to button, means that is an event. That is what? It is an event. So that event, what it does, that is an action triggered by the user. Okay. So that is a event. Means here, that moment what happened, every action you are doing over any button, it is what? An event. Means the action that is being done by the user. Okay, over any button. So that moment what happens, how means by the which button, sorry, which mouse button, which mouse button I have written here. So I have written the code by which mouse button. See here, this is the, see here, button -1. What do you mean of this? -1 means left button. Okay, click. Click means what? Your action. Button -1 means left button of your mouse. Okay. So whenever you click on left mouse button over any widget, so that is an action. Means an event. It is an event. Okay. So that moment, what happened? That moment, what happened? Try to understand. So that moment, what happened? It will call the click function. It will call the click function. Where is that click function? This is the click function. Okay. So under this code, whatever written, that code will be executed. Understood that? So this event is what? It is an object. It is an object passed to whom this object will be passed. This event object passed automatically means what happens whenever you click on over any button, it is an widget. Whenever you click on over any button, that moment what happened, this function will be called. That moment what happened, one object, event object will be passed. Whom this event object will be passed? This event object passed automatically whenever you click on that button. Means this click function will be called your event. Whenever you click on over any button, that moment this click function will be called, and that moment it passes an event object. Event object to whom? Event object automatically. That event object consists of which information? That event objects consists of information like what you know, which button was clicked. Okay. The event object, this event object consisting of the information like which button was clicked, where the click happened, which button was clicked, where the click happened. Where the click means in entry in click happened in entry field, otherwise click happened in over any button, and which widget. Widget means I told you that which button, entry field, button, list box, all they are called list box, input field, okay, entry field, okay. So whenever you click on over any button, that is called one action, that is called event. So whenever you click on any button, it calls this function, click function, and automatically passes one object. Okay, that is called event object. Okay, that is that event object automatically passed. So that event object consists of the information which button was clicked, where the click button happened, which widget. Okay. Next, let us come to the next point. We need to understand this line of code. And so the text will be taken, whatever the code, whichever the button you have, over the button you have clicked, and that will be stored in this variable, text variable. Okay. And this is what if text. So whenever you click on over this text, every data, every character over the button is called a text. Okay. So whenever you click on this text is equal to text. Okay. So that moment what happened means whenever you click on over this is equal to button, now text is called what? Your text is equal to is equal. Means it is one type of character is equal. Okay. So that moment the code written inside of the try block. Why? Because this try block ensures that if any error is there, okay, if you feel that if any error that will be raised, the code to be kept in inside of the try block, and then except block, it will handles that error and it will display the error. So inside of the try block, the code, whatever we need to keep inside of the try block, that is what, if you feel that if any error raises, that code to be kept inside of the try block in Python, try except blocks. Okay. So we will try to understand each and every line of code here. See, this line of code, what it does, it will evaluate the expression. What expression? I told you that inside of this, see what happened here. Here, 5 into multiplication 4. Now, whenever I click on this is equal to character, so now this is not an equation. It is an expression. So whenever you click on is equal to, now this will be erased, this will be deleted, and new result will be inserted. See, what happened here? What do you mean of this? Try to understand here in the class. Now, see, what happened here? I am explaining here. Try to understand. Okay. Now, see, now your entry field is what? It is totally empty. There is no any character here. Entry. The cursor is blinking here. There is no any character here. That moment, what happened? Try to understand very carefully. Whenever click on over any widget, means here button, entry field, all are widgets. So if I click on 5 plus operator for addition 2. Now this is called an expression. It is not an equation. If you keep is equal to, then 5 plus 2 is equal to 7. So this is called equation. But I want to get the value of value of that expression automatically. I don't want to do any manually. I don't want to do calculator. It will do all operations, mathematical operation, addition, subtraction, and multiplication, division. So the 5 plus 2 is an expression. This expression will be evaluated by this function, evaluate function. Here from, I told you that every function has the brackets. Why? Because inside of this, evaluation is a function, string is a function, and get also is a function. Get also is a function. This get function will get the characters. It will get the characters. This get function is part of your entry field. Okay. Now, so what happened here? That moment, evaluate function will be used to evaluate the whatever the expression we have typed here, 5 plus 2, that expression will be evaluated by this function. Evaluated by this function. Understood that? Manasa, you are late. 20 minutes you are late. Class started at right time, 8 o'clock. So if you really want to be you want to become real good programmer, I hope that you can follow the time schedule. These are the free classes. You have missed 20 minutes. Okay. If any student coming or not, doesn't matter for me. Okay. I will start the class. If student attending, not attending, the class will be recorded and kept in YouTube, my channel, so that that will be used for further purpose. As per my promise, under my Lakshmi Narayan Krishna, under my Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation, 3 days of class, weekly, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at 8 p.m. classes will be conducted in June. Whether any student attending the classes or not, the classes will be conducted and that will be recorded and kept in YouTube channel, so that that can be referred for a reference for further. Okay. So what what I was briefing here, every line of code, I told you that whenever I click on any any widget, any button, that moment, so what happened? That text will be taken by this cget. That is part of your widget. Okay. And whenever, as I told you, that whenever you click on over any widget, so that moment what happened? This function click will be executed and automatically passed a object event. The object name is called event. Okay, that object will, it will consist of what button clicked. Okay, what type of information taken, that object will be having. Okay, now so this total code from here, the total code from here to take the text from, to take the text from any widget, and that will be stored in this text variable. Okay. So if text is equal to, whenever you click on this, whenever you click on this is equal to, that moment what happened, this much of code will be executed if it is right. If it is right. So so that's why error. Why I am getting error? Because directly I have clicked over is equal to. Is equal to means before that, clear. Before that, entry field is vacant, empty. There is no any character here. But whenever I click on is equal to, so if text is equal to is equal to, so what happens here? If any expression is here, if any expression 5 plus 8, so this is an expression. That moment, if you click on this is equal to, you will get the 13. Means this code written inside of the try block, this code will be executed properly. Understood that? So when this code written inside of the try block, that will be executed if this line of code will be executed if your user operation, clicking operation is right. Otherwise, if you click is equal to, you are getting error. Why? Because means the code written inside of this except blank will be executed. The code written inside of this except blank. Here error. Okay. If you keep here error, not error Vasu, if you keep here Vasu sir, conducting classes, so that will be executed. Okay. Click on here. Clear? Why? Because I have not saved the project. I have that's why old code will be taken. So if you want to store this, you need to go here and save as. You need to do save as. Okay, otherwise the old code will be taken. So here error. Okay. Yes. So if you do, if you are clicking, so you, if you are clicking is, means you are you are not feeding the right valid inputs. Is equal to is not valid. You need to click over any numbers. Okay. So means you have not fed a right input. So that's why error means this line of code under the except block executed. So that is the use of exception handling that is part of any language. It may be Python, Java, any language. Otherwise, what happens, already I have briefed in the previous classes why exception handling is very compulsory in the programming. Means, suppose I told you that Python is which type of programming language? It is interpreter based programming language. Means it's translator program is what? Interpreter, which will convert your source code into object code. That moment, interpreter, what it does, it will check line by line. First line is okay, it will go for next line. So if second line is okay, then goes for third line, like that. So suppose you have written 100 line of code. So if the error is at 50 line of code, means it has checked that 49th line code, 49 lines. At 50 line error is, it stops there. So it will not go further. So means your program can't be executed. That moment, 100 line of code to be executed. Yet for 50 line of code error is there. That moment, keep that up to 49 line of code inside of the try block. Okay. And you feel that in 50 line, maybe error arises. Keep that code here where that error code here, wherever you are feeling that at 50 line error is there, that 50 line you keep here. And to handle that, if error raises some message to be displayed. So here, this is the wrong input in the input entry field. So this line of code skipped, and this code will be executed, and then total your code will not be stopped. Your application will not be stopped. Okay. Okay. So now I want to explain here every line. Here, what is the role of this value evaluation? This is an expression, sorry, a function to evaluate whatever you have. Suppose 5 multiplied by 6. So whenever you click on is equal to, so it gets, this function gets from this entry field. Okay. This evaluation expression gets from this entry field, and that will be stored in this result. Result is what? A variable. Okay. Now, whenever you click on 30, the 30 will be stored in this result variable. Okay. So string function, generally whatever the characters, whatever the text displayed on this button you click. So, okay, that text will be generally considered as string. Generally considered as string. And this string function, no need. Generally, okay. Generally, that string function, whatever the you enter here, that will be considered as string. So no need of string here. Okay. Now, one more, you need to remove this extra bracket. How many? These two brackets. So how many? These are two. One more bracket I need. Why? Because up to this is a function. So this is the open bracket, next to two open brackets, two close brackets. This is a function. How many function? Evaluate function, get function. So this evaluation expression, evaluate, this function, evaluate function, evaluates the expression, and by this get function, it gets and evaluates and stores in this result variable. So by this line of code, two tasks will be done. Two tasks by this line of code, two tasks will be done. One is that it will get the values entered in entry field. By this get function, it takes the input entered in the entry field, and then by evaluation function, it will evaluates that expression. 2 minus 2 is an expression. It has been collected by this get function and evaluated by this evaluated function. Now the result will be stored here. Understood that? Now let us come. So if I run this code, see, I have removed that string function here. I have removed the string function here. Okay. String is a function. Okay. Now, if I remove this function, is there any changement in my application window? Let us see. I want to remove this string function because generally, whatever we enter the characters here, generally they will be considered as strings. So now come here. If I want to run this code again, rerun. Okay. Stop and run again. So still I am where is my still I am getting this still I am getting what? My calculator. So I want to keep this calculator just aside so that okay. Now by removing of this string function, anything happened to my calculator? So in any function, if I want to do some word like 5, 6 is equal 30. So there is no any function changement in my function. So why do I need to keep this function extra? That is the code, no? Code you need to remove extra code. Okay. So generally I told you that whatever you feed, whatever you click over any button, that will be considered as a string. So no need to keep extra string function here. So next, come to the next line of code. What is the meaning of this entry dot delete first 0 tk dot end? I want to explain it. Try to understand here. First of all, so if see, this is the expression here. So whenever you click on is equal to here, whenever you click on is equal to, that moment, this expression first, it is to be deleted first. Okay. So entry dot delete means that entry field, whatever the expression is there, that is to be deleted. From where? From 0 character to tk dot end means end character. Means from 0 index to end index. So whenever you click on is equal to, okay, that is deleted previous expression, whatever the input in the entry field, that will be deleted by this delete function. From 0 means what? 0 index to tk dot end means last index. And entry dot insert means that result will be inserted where? At tk dot end. What do you mean of tk dot end? tk dot end means at the last, not at the start. If you keep here, see, if you keep here, what happens? 0, what happens? What do you mean of? You want to that result to be entered at 0 index. Understand that? Generally, result is what? Result is what it is a variable. Where is that variable? This is the variable. This is the variable. So after evaluation by this function, that evaluate function, it means it calculates the data entered in, it calculates the evaluate function, calculates the data calculate 5 minus 2. It is an expression. It will be evaluated by this function, okay, and stored in this result variable. So after, whenever I click on this, the deleted previous data, deleted whatever in the input field, and inserted what result will be inserted. That result taken from where? Result variable. Result variable holding the whatever the after evaluation, whatever the result is, that will be stored in result variable, that will be inserted at 0 index. If you give at 0 index, but generally we will write here tk dot end. Okay. Tk dot end. This is the this is what. Okay, take this one. Okay, understood. Now, these 3 lines of code written inside of the try block. If these 3 lines of code will be executed when if you enter proper input. If you violate any rule, means you are not feeding the data properly, means direct, if you click on any plus button. What do you mean of plus button? Plus button, it is a character. Plus button minus is a character. There is no any problem. But we have written the code here. If text is equal to is equal to, if text is equal to is equal. Whenever you click on over is equal, but I don't have any problem if I other than is equal to, if click on any character, I don't have any problem. But whenever I click on is equal to, means what do you mean of this expression? Is there any meaning for this expression? Huh? What is the meaning of this expression? Is there any meaning of this expression? There is no any meaning, na? So if you click over is equal to, surely you will get error, because whenever you click over any button, if it is valid, so this line of code will be executed under the try block. So in the previous classes at the time of exception handling, I told you that briefly, clearly, the code which is you feel that is better, it will not raise any error, so keep that in try block. Okay, if any you feel that if you give any error to handle, okay, to handle which type of message we need to get, okay, wherever the error will rise, that is to be kept in try block. And to handle, so means that time the time of error handling, which type of error that is to be displayed. So that line of code we need to keep inside of the except flag. So I have written, I have clicked is equal to, so that is invalid input. So now this line of code will be executed. So let us try to understand what is the meaning of this line of code. So whenever I click on is equal to invalid input. So what do you mean of this? Entry dot delete. First 0 to last character, that will be deleted. So means, see, suppose this is the expression. Okay. So this is the expression. So then after, if I click is equal to, these line of code under the try block will be executed and you will get the result properly. -4. There's no any problem. So now if I do on is equal to, what happened? There's nothing. Okay. Well, because -4 is there. You have not given any addition, plus, minus, no any character you have added. So this line of code at the time of, okay. So whenever you click on before this, see what happened, 5 is there. Now you click on error. Why this line of code error is showing? Because you are not providing proper, you are not feeding proper input in the input field. So that moment entry.delete means previous data to be deleted from zero index to tk.n means last index, last character, from zero character to last character, and then insert error. Insert error where at tk.end means at the end of, okay, for this code. Now, next code, elif text is equal to C means whenever your character is C, whenever your character is equal to, whenever your character is equal to, so this line of code will be executed from here to here. If your feed, your input is not good, so the code written inside of this except block will be executed. If you click on over C means entry dot text means your text over the button, your text over the button. Okay. This text, if you, because why text? Because you have passed as a text. If you change this as, see Vasu here, Vasu. So if you have changed, you have kept as the text as under as a string. So now you need to pass every way. This text you need to change as Vasu. This text you need to change as Vasu. Understood that? So why do I need to change all that code? So because you have changed the text as Vasu. So if Vasu is equal to means that, so generally we call this over every button, generally what we will call the characters written over all buttons, they are generally called numbers, otherwise characters. So 0, 1, 4, 7, these are numbers, and division, multiplication, star symbol, minus, plus, these are what you know, arithmetical operators. This is equal to, this is C for clear. Okay, that moment try to understand what happened here. Okay. Okay, now entry dot text is equal to C means text is equal to C. What do you mean of text is equal to C? Whenever you click on this C means in entry field, whatever the previous data that will be deleted from 0 to last index. Now click on this. So as per this code, that previous data deleted, else. So conditions what? If your text is equal to, so this line of code will be executed. Otherwise, if you will not enter proper input, invalid input, error will be displayed. Whenever you click on C, so under the, whenever you click on C, so previous data will be deleted from 0 character to n character. Otherwise, last, finally, entry dot insert tk dot end text. So the text will be inserted. Okay. At end, last index. Okay. So up to this code, any doubt in the class? Okay. This much of code from here to from here to here, this much of code written inside of the click function. I told you that click function, you can key in Python, def keyword will be used to create a function. Def keyword compulsory. If you write D, you will get error. Def compulsory. Click, that is a function name. You can keep any name for the function. Event, as I told you that what event is an object will be passed automatically whenever you click over any widget. So automatically event, that event is what? That action triggered by the user over any widget, any control. So that event which object will be having information, which button clicked. Okay, that button has which type of information like that. So now next come to the part. This part already I have covered in the previous class, means on Friday class. This is the main. I told you that this is what the main window from here to here, from here to here. Okay, this code written to initialize the main window. This is the called the main window. Okay, this is called the total window is called to give this type of close button. This is called what? Maximize button, minimize button, close button means to keep it on the taskbar. Okay, so it is an application window. So by this line of code, the main window will be created. I told you that if you, this is what every, I told you, I have explained this code, tk.tk. Here tk is what short name for tkinter interface. That is what tkinter module, short name, alias name. Tkinter module, I don't want to call in further tkinter. No, just call with the alias name. Dot tk. This is the class of, from here, this is the class name of your tkinter module. You can class name, okay? Class. I told you that in the previous classes, every every class has methods. So the class methods, if I want to access, either they can be accessed as class method, otherwise object methods. So if I want to access them as object methods, so I need to create an object. So here, see, uh, syntax is how to create object in Python. First, object name, class name. So object name, any name you can keep. For what class? TK class. This TK class is part of what? This tick interface. So tk.tk. Now this line of code means for this TK class, the class is part of tick interface, object created so that I can use these functions, title, geometry, config, resizable. Okay, TK class has these title, so many attributes are here so that they can be used. So means you can simply say that methods, not attributes, title, geometry, config, and reset. These are the methods of this what? These are the methods, title, geometry, config, reset. These are the methods of the TK class. So that methods, they are being accessed as object methods. Why? Because I have stored this total in root. Root is a variable. So you can simply say that. Okay. So in further, I will call this main application window as root. So root dot that all that methods of that. Okay. tk.tk. Here title, config, resizable, geometry. These are M means method, main loop, function. Okay. This function and method. Don't confuse. Okay, if any line of code written under a class that is called method, if there is no any class, that is a function. So don't confuse. In the previous classes I have explained. So root dot, it is giving error here. Why? Because underline, because name expected. Name expected. So this is the PyCharm code editor here. Title. What title? Here you can write the code in the mobile also. If you don't have the laptop, don't worry. In the mobile, we can do a good coding by downloading a Python IDE for Android mobiles, for Java, JVDroid, and C coding app for C, and C++ coding app for C++. So 10 minutes are there. We will do somewhat coding and we will try to understand. So how this calculator done. So, so you are getting, you are looking like this yellow color and title simple. calculator here. If you want to keep all our calculators, uh, simple GUI calculator, simple GUI calculator. Okay. And this is the size of pixels, geometry, how much of size, the total. If you increase the total size, you will see the total size, very large size. And yellow is what you know, that is the color, background color. That's why BG. So here the function is config. Okay, config. If you keep root dot, so root dot config. So okay, part of your TK. TK is what your TK class. That class is part of your tkinter module. So config is a function that is part of TK class. So here I want to use here, if you want to config. Config is what? It is a function. So by that is part of your TK class to use to provide the background color. If I want to change this color as orange color, orange, simply you write orange. Okay. Now, so this is what you know, geometry. Geometry is what? The size of what? Window size, pixels, geometry. This is the geometry. It is also a function. Okay. Okay. Geometry size, how much of size? If you want to give 1,000 pixels, 1,000 Okay. Now, this is the name, title, simple geo calculator. This is the background color, resizable. Resizable, true. Width can be resizable and height can be resizable. See, width. This is called width, resizable. This is the height, resizable. Why? Because I have kept resizable under this. So this is what dot resizable. Where is that resizable? This is resize function. Okay. So true means your window can be resizable. Okay. If you keep them as okay, if you keep them as false, so you can't. If you keep them as false, so you can't resize. Okay, why I am able to resize? See, because code is not executed. I have not run the code. I need to go and run the code. Then the old code will be updated. Okay, understood that. Next, now let us try to understand this code, entry feed. So today, because 10 minutes last time, the first period will be, it is going to be finished within 6 minutes. We will try to understand up to this entry field, okay, up to here. And see button up to here also. And we will cover this portion of code from here to here, from here to I will cover next day Sunday, and next week we will take one more project. Okay, different every week. Uh, I want to cover different projects as a GUI apps. Okay, and next week we will try to create a game in Python. How to create a two-dimensional game in Python. That moment, let us try to use Pygame module. Okay. So now, what is the up to here? I have this is the main. If you give, so suppose if you copy the total code and if you pass the code, total code, copy, and if you paste here, what happened? Two windows will be provided here. Okay, run top and See, how many windows you are getting here? See, two windows. So this is one window. Okay. This is one window having the total code. But this window, it is not having any function. Okay. What that function will be, this total click function will be executed for one window up to from here to where up to here only. This is code written for another window, but this another window has no any, it doesn't have any widgets. It doesn't have any widgets. Understood that? So Banasa, where are you studying? In which college? In Narayan Rao Peta? Are you able to understand all that code, what I am explaining? You can ask the questions, okay, in the class. You can, I don't actually in which stream you are studying, whether you are studying in ECE, computer science engineering, I don't know actually. Where are you studying? But your father has, today he has told me in WhatsApp that my daughter, she is attending the classes last day also, yesterday also, my daughter has attended the classes. Very nice. Okay, now come to the today. So now here, entry field. Let us try to understand what is the meaning of this entry field. Okay. This is the entry field. Where is that entry field? This is called entry field, like your input field, text box. Okay. So a text box also, it will be packed. It will be placed as a control widget element, all are same terms. So input field, input box, text box means, so both to feed the text. Okay. To feed the entry, to feed entry the text. Okay. So this is a widget. So how to tk dot entry? We need to write the code like this. Then after root is what your application window is called root. So this entry field, all these buttons are part of your root, means main application window. That is this code must be, we need to write here. And TK is what I told you, the TK is your tkinter library module. So dot, that moment you will get all the widgets, the entry, and TK, frame, button, canvas, text, label, okay, list box, okay, all these are all what your elements, controls, otherwise widgets, which I want to take entry field. What purpose? This is part of tkinter. Okay, clear, it is mentioning it tkinter. Huh? So entry field, what purpose? To enter what? Like here, okay, this is, I have closed. So here, to enter the text here, okay. So now, then what type of font? How much, which type? Arial font, whatever you type here, it looks like Arial textile, and how much of pixel you want. You want to increase your pixels, you need to say 40, like, okay, here. So then what? Entry the pack. Pack is a function to place the control over the, to play, to place the control over the application window. Pack. If you don't want to use this pack function, so don't expect that your control will be, widget will be placed. Pack function. So pack is a function which will be used to pack, to place the control widget over it, the widget over the application window. Fill. Fill means what? TK dot both means, both means that that entry field that will be for both horizontal and vertical. Okay. This code written for, that is your entry field placed over the application window horizontally and vertically. Okay. Pad, I means internal padding inside of the entry field. X, pad X means, okay,